Greetings. Today is May, I believe the 30th or 29th. It's Sunday, Memorial Day weekend. And I come to you all to talk about relationships and just knowing when to take a break, when to make a breakaway, and having a relationship with God where you can trust Him to follow His leadership about what He either told you in the beginning or what He's telling you for right now. I had a marriage that I thought was going to be a lifetime relationship, which was just seasonal for whatever reason. I won't get into all the details, but I know God led me to her. Whether I was told to marry or not, I don't know. But I know we're both better off after the meeting. I grew a lot, she grew a lot. It was a stepping stone. And I just recognize that in relationships, you have to recognize whether you can love a person or not. Now, the Bible commands us to love. It's just saying be kind. 1 Corinthians 13. Be patient. Don't keep throwing up in each other's face what you did wrong. And I've recognized that when it's difficult for me to love somebody, especially when I don't have to be with them or in that space, i.e. a wife or children. For example, somebody that could be a business associate or a girlfriend or a friend, male, female, whatever it is. You don't have to be around them. You don't have to keep... there's enough stuff to deal with in life than unnecessary frustration. So, my understanding that helps me is if I can't love you, I don't need to be around you. And it doesn't go without a lot of patience and trying to make things work, to grow up myself. And as an individual, you know what you can accept, tolerate, or just not. We all have our line in the sand. When you recognize a person doesn't respect your line in the sand and keeps agitating things that aren't necessary, that relationship is probably not meant to move forward. Especially when God hadn't put His hand on it to tell you, hey, this is your assignment, or this is who I want for you, or what have you. And when you get in God's will, in God's flow, in the space and energy that you're blessed to be, in God's will, you'll be able to deal with the situations that come through. God is the God of provider. God is the God of provision. God is a provider. If it's God's will, it's always God's will. Whether it's time, resources, energy, whatever's needed, God will provide through you or others or the other party to help you be sustained in that place where He's called you to be. When you're not called to be in that space, it may be a short-lived time of enjoyment, but one thing for sure, that agitation, that irritation, that frustration, that negativity, that belittling, that mean-spiritedness, whatever it is, it's gonna come up. And I just say, if you want to know who a person is, look at their children. That's a true test, because your kids gonna take after you, especially 12 and under. But we all have to recognize what our limits are, what we can tolerate, what we can't tolerate, what is for us, what's not. And without having that first relationship with God, you won't know. Because you don't love God enough to love yourself so that you can love somebody else. And a lot of us want to walk around selfish, so selfish that we can't even see ourselves as we are known. Or even listen to somebody else saying, hey, maybe you should grow in that area. Or maybe that's an area, that I can help you grow in, or you can help me grow in. We don't want to relate so the ship can move us into better places. A lot of us prematurely end the process or extend the process that causes a shipwreck or a relationship wreck. And I just recognize I don't want to leave any stains on people to wear another shirt of hurt for either party, me or somebody else. So I just rather step away and let people figure it out, whether in business or personal relationships. And I just recognize sometimes you just gotta put people in their place. And I ain't trying to say like, oh, I'm gonna fix you. No, it's like you gotta recognize this person is only good for a certain amount of time, or this type of situation, or they only good for. I mean, it's like, why would you call a plumber to do carpentry work when their profession is plumbing? Why would you call the electrician to install a window? It's like, you keep people for what they're good for. I don't want to make it sound like we're using each other, but it's mutual. We all use each other. And that's part of the relationship, giving and taking. If I call a tradesman, I'm going to pay them for their trade. If I'm in a relationship with somebody, they're going to use my resources and I'm going to use their resources. It's just how things go. I'll never forget how so many times in business I've gone over and beyond the call of duty for people, especially if I care about them or I feel like they got potential to be good in business, to help out, and the reciprocity just not there. And I just realized, you know what? I don't have to be somebody's savior. I don't have to extend myself and go over and beyond the call of duty for somebody who won't do the same for me. And it's about peace of mind. Don't keep overextending yourselves when you know you're gonna have expectation for the other person on the other side. I refuse to keep doing that to myself, because I have to know me. I have to know me that if I do something for somebody and I'm gonna have expectation on the other side, then and they time and time again don't follow through of what was expected of them, especially if it's agreed upon, then I need to stop extending myself to that. And I've just learned to pull back. Just take myself out of the equation. Why I don't have to keep going through the frustration of this they pattern, this who they are. This is real. They real. They true who they are. They are being real. The biggest fallacy is the fantasy of trying to make somebody be what you want them to be them versus what they are. Everybody is real. They're really being who they are. They really are being who they are. And we can't change people. The only way you can change somebody is by influence and their desire to want to change. Not telling them directly this way you're wrong at. That finger of judgment does way less than the hand of grace. Notice one finger, 5 fingers make a hand. So much more given with grace than judgment. So just let vengeance be God's, and learn to give people the dignity without having to have a confrontation about why you want them to be something that they not. I refuse to be a witch and try and change somebody. Now I believe in molding your children and training them in the way they should be. You train up a child in the way they should go. Proverbs 22:6. And they will not soon depart from it. You train your animals to do certain things. And if you don't, guess what? You get what you get out of the situation. Raise decent people. Raise them to the point where even when they are decent, they recognize other people are not being decent back to them. That they love themselves enough to say, you know what, I sowed seed, I did good by them. I don't have to keep doing this. I don't have to keep subjecting myself to repeated misuse or abuse. So, I guess I'm here to say, recognize what you can and cannot accept from people, and let that be the determining factor of whether you're gonna stay around or not. And don't let yourself be so petty that you allow little things to kill you from having the big things. But only you know what's petty versus big deals to you, because you're uniquely and wonderfully made. And I'm not trying to tell you what your deal breakers are or your things that can be looked past. And recognize when a person apologizes and their actions change with that apology. Recognize when a person is giving you their best, and don't beat them down with the stress of one thing they did wrong when they doing 20 things right by you. You kill people's fire with that. So you can fight for your right to be wrong. You can win the battle and lose the relationship. You can be right or you can be in relationships. The choice is always going to be yours. Always going to be yours. We all choose what we want in life by our actions. Not by what we say. By our actions. When our actions in line with our words, manifestation can come. But when we keep misaligning what we say and our actions, there's nothing about what we want. So be at peace. Let God lead you. Make better decisions. Pray for wisdom and discernment daily. And sound judgment. Great is the peace of our children. Have Have a good weekend.